Hey there, listeners, and welcome back to Fear and Flame Podcast. I'm Brooklyn.
I'm Mason.
Wyatt.
I'm Maddie.
This is our guest star for today, Maddie. Today we're going to be talking about paranormal military encounters. So, strike a match, light a candle, and settle in. This one is sure to ignite some fear.
Boom!
That's for the 4th of July, right?
4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Yep.
It's the America's 249th birthday.
Is it really?
It's 249.
Wow, we're almost to
250s next
250.
year.
I hope we make it there.
250s, maybe.
We'll see.
I don't know.
If serving in the military isn't scary enough, add paranormal encounters to the mix. Over the centuries, military personnel have reported unexplainable experiences with the unknown, deep in jungles, deserted bunkers, or even at their own forts. These disciplined and highly trained individuals have faced non-tangible entities that defy logic. Today, we're going to look into some of their supernatural stories. So I kind of divided it into 3 different stories: ghost stories, cryptids. I just kind of did a couple of each of those that we'll go into a little bit.
And my favorite thing too about like military involved like ghost stories and stuff like that is that these dudes are like
These are some tough guys,
and
tough.
you know, like, which I know like that doesn't keep them from just like lying. But, you know,
I mean, they still lie.
Yeah, but I mean, like, these guys are supposed to be
usually
pretty solid
don't
fellas.
get scared easily. Yeah.
And so if they're like, man, I wasn't a big fan of that, then
yeah, I know I wouldn't make it.
yeah, then I probably wouldn't be either.
Yep. So we can go ahead and start with some ghost stories. I'm going to start with something interesting. I read into this and I didn't know about it. You guys might know about it because you've probably listened or looked into the Vietnam War. This was ghost spirits and psychological warfare in the Vietnam War. During the Vietnam War was not only a physical conflict, but also psychological and spiritual struggles. Soldiers on both sides reported paranormal phenomena like ghost sightings, disembodied voices, eerie encounters in the jungles and the tunnels as well. So this is something that I thought was interesting because I didn't know about this. Mm-hmm. The U.S. military implemented something called Operation Wandering Soul. It was a psychological warfare tactic.
Oh, I love this one.
Where they would use ghost audio recordings over loudspeakers to exploit their beliefs. The Vietnamese had a lot of strong spiritual beliefs. Yeah. So they would make tapes with like eerie cries, moans, voices, things to terrify them, like invoke their beliefs about there being spirits or them being on improper burial sites, like stuff like that. And I didn't know about that.
If you can find a clip of that, play it here because, dude, it is like...
Is it terrifying?
It's freaky.
It is crazy.
Let me look it up.
If you could find it, I'd put it on here and let people hear it because, dude, some of it is... Which both sides did a psychological warfare like that, like playing audios. Vietnam's was all right. Like, I think they had one lady that was basically like, hey, GI, your government has abandoned you. GI, you're losing this war, you know? Nobody's here to save you. Stuff like that. Which is like, oh, man, that sucks.
I can see that wearing on morale.
But if you've got...
like being in the jungle at night and you start hearing ghosts and stuff. Some of the video, some of the sound.
I'll play a sound, but even if I knew that the other army, it would still give me like...
Oh,
just
dude,
a
if it's 3 in the
feeling.
morning...
And
you're
all of a
just...
sudden you just hear like somebody screeching.
You're in the middle of the Vietnam jungle and you just start hearing like some of the noises.
You're already out there for however long, so you're already not doing the best probably mentally.
Yeah,
and a lot of them weren't getting very much sleep.
I added this in just because some of it, you know, their stories are because they're having mental anguish and grief and things are going on, but also the psychological warfare as well. But some of the stories aren't involving any of this. I just didn't know about this. I thought that was crazy. This says I have ghost tape number 10, so let me just see if we can hear any sound.
It's freaky.
Imagine you wake up at 3 in the morning.
So you're in the Nam, in the middle of Nam in the 70s. And then...
Dadgum.
Okay, and mind you, like...
That would freak me out.
Like, you wouldn't be, like, 100% certain either as a Vietnam soldier, like, if that's... Because, like, I would be pretty sure that that's just the other army doing stuff, but, like... I can't be certain. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, like, for sure. And so, yeah, you're in the middle of the night, just straight jungle, and you already hear a bunch of, like, animals and wildlife and stuff like that, and you just, like, get to hear that for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
No.
Sure would be pretty awesome.
It said a lot of them ran in terror and like they fled away, but I guess it was depicted in the film Apocalypse Now. I don't know what that is, or I haven't heard of it, but beyond the psychological operations, soldiers recounted encounters with strange figures and ominous voices. One notable story involves American soldiers trapped in a Viet Cong tunnel complex who found a hidden chamber lit by flickering oil lamps, Vietnamese troops in a trance, and bizarre golden statues of a woman with a serpent-like lower body. The soldiers felt overwhelming dread and were warned by a disembodied voice to leave immediately. Some researchers speculate the supernatural forces may have influenced the war, as the trauma and bloodshed possibly opened gateways for paranormal phenomena. These stories reveal the profound psychological and spiritual scars left by the Vietnam War. People wonder if the Vietnamese were doing some weird rituals and
some hoodoo voodoo, like
Yeah.
straight like
some weird stuff that mess not only them up but people on the other side too.
Yeah. And then it seems like anytime areas have large amounts of negative emotion, that people always say that's a factor that increases paranormal activity and such.
Yep.
Yeah.
Invites it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure like war-stricken rebel versus, the big American war machine is probably not great things are going on, I can't imagine. And even too, I imagine some of the stuff, even if let's say that paranormal stuff isn't real at all, I can imagine that a dude watching like a village burn from like napalm strikes and stuff like that, and you're watching like women and children like run out and, burn to death. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that probably may mess up your mental.
Yeah, very strong.
Just a little bit. So.
Yeah, makes you sick to think about.
Emotions.
So I'm going to go ahead and just move on to a different area. This is the Pohakuloa, something like that. It's a Hawaiian training area. They call it PTA in Hawaii. It's located between Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea. PTA sits at a high elevation featuring cold weather, fog, rain. There's a dried lava fields and it just is a weird area. Mm-hmm. The area holds great cultural and spiritual significance in Hawaiian's history. A soldier from the Hawaiian National Guard shared his experience following. During a recent range qualification, he woke up around 3 a.m. feeling dizzy and sensing movement around his tent, but tried to make himself go back to sleep. Another NCO woke at the same time, hearing chanting and movements also around him. They attributed these events to night marchers, so spirits of ancient Hawaiian warriors who protect the land. The other soldiers reported seeing fire-like torches moving silently on the hillsides, visible only to the naked eye and not through night vision goggles. Reports include being physically pushed at night and hearing chanting. That says that a sergeant recounted hearing distant drums while moving stealthily into PTA, radioing the near team to confirm no noise was being made. Suddenly, they saw torches within 60 to 70 meters accompanied by chanting. The following morning, rock stacks appeared kind of near their Humvees, and the unit moved quickly to a new location. The soldier warns others who train at PTA to respect the land and be cautious. Have you ever heard of night marchers?
I haven't. No.
So I think it is just a Hawaiian belief because it is the warriors that they had there. But I heard that if you look at them or make eye contact with them directly, I think you're very bad luck. Like, I think you're doomed or destined to die.
I mean, what would you do if you literally just saw torches and people were
Oh, yeah. It's like, well.
like, where do you go from
So
there?
creepy, yeah.
So-
But I don't remember what story or if I watched a video or something on it, but people were in their vehicle driving, and in the distance they saw torches, and immediately they knew they were going to be coming up on night marchers, so they pulled their vehicle over and closed their eyes and looked down until they heard all the drums and the chanting and marching go away from them and didn't look up once. They told the passenger, whoever it was, do not look at all until it was completely over.
I'd be completely fine with that. I'm not,
It's just scary because, like, how do you know for sure? I mean, you have to sit there for a really long time, like, until you know for sure they're gone.
No, yeah, that's okay.
Because I'm not going to look up.
Yeah, I'll stare at the floor.
Well, I ain't got nothing better to do anyway.
It's so scary.
Which I do wonder. So, but Hawaii doesn't have any, like, uncontacted or...
Yeah,
like
no, there
tribes.
isn't, like, tribes and stuff. I think it's pretty...
Are there?
It's supposed to be, they're ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
supposedly.
Yeah, because I can't imagine, like, if it was like, let's say this is like, I don't know, some,
It's just very much giving, like, if you went to a native land, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
native.
like we went to like a South American jungle or,
Or
something like
something.
that, and yeah, there's some local tribe that, like, that could be explainable, but in Hawaii,
Yeah.
yeah, big dog, I think that's all like a bunch of like white, like real estate moguls and like,
It's just
that's all
very
British land there, yeah.
well known there too. Everyone knows, like, if you see, I mean, maybe they didn't because they're with the army, they're just there. But like, if you see them or hear them, everyone knows to not look at them, just let them go by.
Just imagine you're the first person that figured this out.
Those-
Well, you didn't live very long, I don't think, to tell the tale.
and then not being able to see it through night vision,
Yeah,
too,
because
is
it's night
crazy.
vision.
It's like almost like those like videos where like people turn off the light and then you turn it back on and like there's someone there and then you turn it off and turn it back on and they're like closer.
That they're not giving off body heat. The fire's not giving off any heat.
Well,
That's why you can't
what's
see
Night
crazy
it
is
vision
it's
either.
not giving
amplifies
off-
light. Though.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It does too.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that's-
any night vision will amplify.
So it's not just
a light
thermal.
source. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it was like, yeah, like, so in theory, if this was like a real light being like projected that you could look at, then like I couldn't see why night vision wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, but
Pick it
it's
up.
because it's a ghost.
So that's even scarier because
Yeah.
that, like, what if they're just projecting that into your head? Like,
They could, yeah,
that'd be pretty. That wouldn't be an ideal situation. I
pretty
don't think.
creepy. So our next one is the USS Hornets 50-member ghost crew. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but it's a famous haunted military ship that's actually open to visitation, so visitors will go and see it. A former tour guide recounted a personal experience from about 15 years ago. After finishing a ghost story tour, stories he initially didn't believe but heard from his Vietnam veteran grandfather, he experienced an unexplained phenomenon himself. He heard mumbling voices and footsteps in the area where personnel slept, even though no one should have been in there. His white noise machine suddenly stopped working, despite just putting new batteries in it, and loud thumping and laughter echoed outside of his door. When investigating with a crank flashlight, he found nothing but a broken picture of a Japanese soldier on the floor. Later, as he walked down the dark hallway, he saw a tall, shadowy figure of a girl with thick, dark hair, black eyes outlined in green, running toward the floor at a wall intersection. That would freak me.
Yeah.
Make me flip out, man. The image was faint but vivid, and the only ghost he saw during his 3 years working there. The experience left him scared and convinced him the ship was haunted by a ghost crew.
If I see, okay, so I'm gonna be honest. There's a difference between if a ghost is like just standing there. But I feel like as soon as they start booking it, that's not good.
there's a
You know?
problem.
Yes,
Yeah, once
like,
they
There's gonna be a
start
problem for
running.
both of
yeah.
us.
Like if they, like, I'm fine with them if they're staying over there and they're just, you know, doing their thing. I won't bother them.
You don't
none,
look at
but-
me, I don't look at you,
But
type
if
of thing.
we
But
start,
if you start,
you know, yeah, that'll be an issue. I think. I don't,
Yeah.
How do you think it looks when ghosts run though? Like, do they just kind of,
and that's what I'm scared of too.
or is it like them actually you see a full body?
And they're
running?
just like booking it.
Like right out of their vans. You know?
I don't think I like it either
I mean,
way.
I don't know.
I think they're faster, probably,
That's the thing too, is they probably are. I mean, that probably,
than they were when they were
You
alive.
know what I mean? Like
No
what?
way, y'all
Yeah.
figure it
Like what? Are the,
And this user is called Reindeer Mafia.
hell yeah.
For those of you who don't know, the USS Hornet is a famous haunted military ship you can still visit today. Everything I tell you is true, so give my story a chance. It's bad when they got to preface that, but I still
Okay.
want to
I
read
am
it.
not.
All right. Well,
It's true.
I was a tour guide at the time, and this happened 15 years ago. So this is the actual story based on what kind of we just talked about.
I do wonder how many tour guides they go through. Because imagine you're a tour guide
And you're like,
If I see
Well,
something, I'm quitting.
Yeah,
I'm done. Yeah.
yeah. If a ghost woman decides that she wants to sprint across my hallway, then yeah, that's not my
I think
hallway
I'm
no
done.
more.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like night at the museum.
Yeah.
Like the first couple times, it's all right, but one night when someone goes down, I'm
Yeah,
done.
no.
Turning my flashlight in.
No,
They
I'm
can keep
fine
the
with
crank.
Anything that I can explain just by like, yeah, I'm crazy and that's not real, that's fine. If it gets past that point where I'm like, okay, I need to go see a doctor, then I think it's time overall
Get on
to
the
go.
medication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says, I had just finished telling ghost stories to everyone in my tour group. I didn't even believe the stories I told, but I told them anyway. I'd actually seen weird things, whispers, reflections that don't match what I look like, shadow people, etc. But I could have cared less. I had a wild imagination and I blew it off. Anyway, we had a strict no late hours policy. I'd even kicked people out for staying up too late. There was a bathroom where everyone was sleeping along with water fountains. There weren't any reasons for people to go where I was staying at. I finished brushing my teeth and I was ready for bed. I got in my bed, flipped my pillow over, and tried to go to sleep. For some reason, this night, my body just couldn't get tired. So I take out my battery-powered white noise machine and change the blankets, which helped a lot. Fast forward an hour and a half later, I started to hear mumbling sounds that I couldn't quite make out. All of a sudden, my white noise machine stopped completely, which was weird because I had just put brand new batteries in it, though it could have been the machine itself. I told myself I didn't need white noise because I was already still tired, so I returned to bed. Then the mumbling sound returned. It was indescribable and kind of annoying. Then I heard the footsteps, so I got up to investigate. When I walked towards the door, I heard what sounded like people. I then got annoyed, so I waited a bit. Then I slammed the door open, shining my crank-powered flashlight in a different direction, which revealed nothing. There was no one. They couldn't have left because where I was staying, there was only one door leading to the dark hallway. Plus, the door at the end of the hallway was very flimsy and could be heard by the entire ship if it was opening, so whatever it was, it couldn't have left. I can admit I was actually scared. I tried to go back to sleep, but the sound continued. This time it sounded like the thumping and the laughing. Which the laughing, something so creepy about laughing, hearing laughing around you when you're all by yourself.
Oh, if it's the middle of the night. Because what's so funny? You know?
Like,
what do we, I want to know. You know?
mumbling is one thing, like,
I want it.
Yeah. Well, 'cause that's the
but
thing,
if someone's laughing, no.
Because I can, like, in my head, because there's sometimes at night where I'm just sitting there and I'll hear just like a, almost like I'm hearing mumbling, but then I like lift my head and I'm like, okay, that was
enough.
I was just making that up. But if you hear, like, I feel like laughing is distinct enough to where if I heard,
it's something that's hard for you to be like, that was the house setting.
After I had first had my baby, I was at home by myself, which I'm sure it was just being
Postpartum.
And I'm thinking it was maybe the washer or the dryer, something making noise, but I swear it sounded like a grown man laughing.
Ooh, I think I would have been out. I think I wouldn't have been in there.
It may have been the washer.
Yeah, it was the dryer.
Maybe the guy in the dryer. I don't know.
It's a really old house, though, so.
Which just makes it even more sketch. Yep.
For sure, buddy, for sure.
Anyways, again, I slammed the door open, which revealed nothing. I couldn't find an explanation. I then put earplugs in to filter out the sound. I thought it was over when all of a sudden I heard a loud noise I knew coming from outside my door. I took my earplugs out and I went to the hallway.
Earplugs?
They put some in to try to go to sleep.
Dude's gotta change his mind.
Yeah, he's like, well,
Turn the white noise machine on, put in earplugs.
If it's that hard to sleep there, I'd still
it's time to go.
Yeah.
It might be time for Ambien.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, son.
So this is when they found the picture of the Japanese soldier that was broken on the floor. Mm-hmm. At this point, I was sketched out. No kidding. I knew that there was no way it was just a coincidence that all of these events happened in one night. I decided to go to the bathroom and decide if I should stay or leave. Imagine leaving all those people that are staying in the other part of it.
Tour guide.
Y'all have a good night now.
You might not want to leave your room.
Yeah. I walked over to the end of the hallway with my... Okay.
And
I walked...
just to let y'all know, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's
like
actually
the middle
not
of the
night.
day. This is
I don't know what our problem is.
Actually.
All that food I ate, I think, is a problem. That hot dog I wanted real bad. All right.
What?
The Jennifer Coolidge joke. You look like the 4th of July. Made me want a hot dog real bad.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know the Jennifer Coolidge?
Because it's the other chick, the other blonde
It's
gal.
from Legally
that's like, oh,
Blonde.
yeah.
Reese Witherspoon's all like dressed up in 4th of July.
America,
She was like,
USA.
you look like the 4th of July.
I don't remember
Make me want a
that.
hot dog real bad. That's such a classic for the 4th.
It's not.
Okay. I decided to go to the bathroom and decided if I should stay or leave. I walked over to the end of the hallway with my hand on the door. As soon as I opened the door, I shined my flashlight around for a few seconds to make sure no one was there. After I'd taken a corner, I shined my flashlight around to make sure nothing was there. Then, when I looked between where the walls were intersecting, I saw what looked like an extremely tall shadow girl with thick dark hair running to the floor and dark black eyes with a Kelly green outline.
Just my type.
There you go. That's your woman right there, Wyatt. You know where
So
to find
Wyatt
her.
wouldn't have been scared.
Where's this at again? We might need to make a
Yeah,
trip.
shoot.
At this point, I was between the door and the hallway, and I had no idea what to do. I just stood there for a solid 5 seconds, wondering if I should keep walking or turn around. I decided to keep walking at this point. I was on high alert. I exited the boat. I knew what I saw. It was an almost vivid image of a shadow girl. It was still very faint and almost blurry, but I have no idea what to think now.
Okay, I'm gonna have to.
I'd have
All
working
right.
there for 3 years. Bye, Maddie.
Bye, Maddie. Being a dog. Okay, guys. So unfortunately, Maddie's passed away. I thought that'd be a good bit.
They worked there for 3 years, and that was the only time they saw a ghost.
And listen, so, and I'm not. Let me get
Yeah,
right.
get comfy
Let me get
before you
right.
talk.
Yeah. Straighten back out
Okay.
a little.
Man, I just threw up a little bit. So,
From that hot dog, you
really
wanted
good.
real bad.
and I'm not really into like the whole, like, I know that there are people that are into warships and military stuff, but I've never thought that it would be, you know, it would be a really great idea is let me go sleep in like a 70, 80-year-old retired warship. And, you know, that's what I want to spend my weekend on.
It's
you
part of your
know?
job, though. That's your night shift.
But what about, okay,
Yeah,
is
what
it
about
not
the
people-
visitors?
Yeah, the people that just do that
That
for
are
fun?
doing it.
Like, that paid for that? Yeah.
Yeah, I never paid to
odd.
do that. What about a haunted hotel, though?
No.
It depends.
You know, there's that Arkansas one.
It'd be fun if I was with other people. I
Like if
wouldn't
we
do it on
went
my
and
own.
stayed the night at
Yeah.
the... Okay.
That'd be awesome. We could
Yeah,
record an
that
episode
might
there.
be interesting.
That would be fun.
I'm not doing it alone.
No, it's not,
No,
it's not like a vacation thing.
if we're
And I'm not going to be in a room by myself. We will all be bumping
yeah, if
together.
I'm like this is an event that we're prepared for. We've got like salt and crucifixes. Like we've got it like ready. You know what I mean? Like I've mentally prepared myself. But if I walk it, like if I'm having a nice evening in like St. Louis and I go into my hotel room and there's just, you know, demon Bobby Joe sitting in the corner looking at me.
I can tell you,
we may
first
have
of
a
all, if
problem.
you're staying in St. Louis, you got to be prepared for something like that.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I'm just kidding. I
And
like
probably
St.
not even the
Louis.
most dangerous thing in St. Louis,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth. I may test my luck better there than out on a couple of them streets. But
So next, we'll go into some of the cryptid encounters. The first of which is a Bigfoot sighting in North Carolina. So this is also a Reddit post. I'm pretty sure I have user King Tiger 5 or IV. What is IV? Is that 6? 4?
4.
4.
I didn't know what we were talking about.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I was like, I thought.
ivy? I
was
believe
like,
that's
I-
a plant.
No, you went from like King Tiger to I think his name
King
is
Tiger
Ivy.
4.
Like, well,
King Tiger 4, and he was a Marine Corps, so a veteran. While in the Marine Corps
Fine.
station in North Carolina, can you guess at what camp they were at? Camp Lejeune.
Yeah, Lejeune.
We had talked about that last
Oh,
time.
yeah.
The unit was frequently stalked by mysterious creatures. So it is a area where a lot of paranormal things happen,
Something's over there.
supposedly. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
I
heard a few
mean-
stories.
Despite being armed with rifles and blankets, apparently there was no ammo during the field ops. These creatures approached silently, picking up dropped trash or snacks. Soldiers saw glowing eyes in the tree line and fleeting shadows through their night vision devices. Noises like knocks and rustling were common. One patrol at 3 a.m. during a war game, while sleep deprived, soldiers saw outlines in the woods and were hit by thrown pebbles.
Okay. If I'm leaving you my Skittles, in like the middle
Don't be
of the
throwing rocks
field,
at me.
and you throw a rock at me,
No more Skittles.
it's no more Skittles. All right, dude, I'm trying to do you a favor. I'm out in the middle of the night. Okay, we're doing trainings. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make the little like Bigfoot creatures happy.
Leave a little bag of M&Ms.
And they chunk a rock at me.
We're
No
done.
more Skittles.
We're not friends no more.
So at first they assumed it was an enemy ambush, but no friendly units were nearby, so no other teams that were training were nearby them. Which it kind of would be funny if somebody For their ambush, they were just throwing pebbles at
Yeah,
the
they're
other. All right, men, pick up your pebbles. We're gonna
Ron
start.
sleeper cell. They sit there and like this is where we get them.
So what they did was they opening fire with blanks revealed two massive creatures about 25 to 30 meters away. They knocked over a small tree and growled deeply, unnerving even the battle-hardened Marines. It says the next day huge footprints were found. The incident converted the narrator from a skeptic to a believer, and they still struggle with going into the woods. So with the story, this was just very condensed version because I think the story was really long. But pretty much Bigfoot's out in the woods at their camp at Camp Lejeune, which has a lot of sketchy stuff going on. They gave them their Skittles. They got rocks thrown at them, so they started shooting blanks at the guys. And they got mad and put a tree down.
Yeah.
Which and like that would the thought though of like, hey, let's make sure that's not like the enemy, and they're just like, and you know, instead of using like bullets or
Blanks.
you know, let's
Yeah. Well, I think they
chuck a
were
couple pebbles at them fellas, let them know.
I don't think they even had ammo. I don't think
Yeah,
they
it
let
was
them
a
have
training
ammo.
deal,
Yeah.
so.
This one is hunting Marines in the California desert. So I don't know much, I don't know much about things, but do Marines really do training so many different random areas? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever camps and bases they're staying at. Yeah, they'll do little training exercises and stuff.
Yeah, you gotta be prepped.
Yeah, I know you have to be for any type of weather and stuff. So this was in the desert in California. They were stationed at 29 Palms Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Training Center. It's called MCAGCT. During field ops in early April, 2 Marines on fire watch spotted multiple strange humanoid creatures through night vision. The description of the creatures was 5'5" tall, muscular arms and legs, leathery dark skin, large dark eyes, no visible nose, wide mouth with razor-sharp teeth that walked hunched over, sometimes ran on all fours, 4-fingered hands with long claws like daggers. They
Danny
approached...
DeVito as the penguin.
I was gonna say 5'5". I think a couple like little 6'2" good old boy Marines.
It said it had tall, muscular arms and legs, like leathery skin, freaky looking. So they approached at high speeds, moving silently, hunting the Marines. Marines attempted to alert their corporal. Gunfire erupted as other Marines awoke. Despite shots fired, creatures were unfazed and they still charged. Marines retreated to vehicles as creatures attacked and killed some personnel with claws and bites. So they're saying that people were killed during this.
This might have been Wolverine. I know. Like, you know what I mean? 5'5". He's got
Claws.
claws. He's running on all fours. This
Muscled up.
he might have actually made
I have a harder time believing that
Wolverine.
one.
Yeah.
This is literally the plot to the first Wolverine movie.
It says that helicopters and searchlights arrived later, called in for search and rescue. Checkpoint guards appeared as mysterious, heavily armed men with no ID. Interrogated the Marines about the event, showing intimate knowledge of their personal details and warned them to never speak about it again.
Men in
There
Black.
you go.
The narrator left the Marines a year later and never went on another field operation, said they were haunted by the experience. Warning, Marines at 29 Palm should stay close to their vehicles and beware of these creatures. So, do I know if this is true at all whatsoever? No, I think,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest, I think this is an r/no sleep story.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting that they made it into a Marine story with the creature not being actually told what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Maybe Chupacabra.
Something,
Or something like that.
yeah.
or something.
But
Some form
just
of-
interesting
which-
how they're able to twist it.
Yeah, because there's no if it really was like a Men in Black operation, they that post.
They'd
would've
have that
been
locked
intercepted.
down. Yeah, that'd be locked
Like-
down.
Like nobody would have heard from that guy
No.
ever again. So, I really
It'd be locked down
Yeah.
for sure. So this one's supposed to be true. This is the Battle of... It's in Georgia, so...
Somebody didn't practice
Georgia.
their
The legend...
pronunciations. No, I'm just kidding.
Chickamauga,
Chickamauga.
Chickamauga.
Georgia.
Chickamauga.
It's the legend of the Green Eyes at that creek. The battleground was... This is after the Civil War.
Okay.
So after the Civil War battle, stories emerged of monstrous creatures roaming the battlefield around Snodgrass Hill, feeding on fallen soldiers. The description is a humanoid figure with glowing green eyes, long yellow hair, and large jaws with sharp teeth. sometimes wearing a dark cape that seemed to move without wind. So I think it's very much vampire-esque,
Yeah.
is what they're trying to allude to. But
There
a
was
notable
few
sighting
stories around
of on the
Civil War.
battlefield.
Oh yeah, now
So-
I think that's when the Bell Witch. I think that's when she started the Bell Witch.
Have you guys ever watched? I know Vampire Diaries is dumb or whatever, but
Never seen it.
their backstory, like Stefan and Damon, were during the Civil War times, and vampires and stuff kind of was.
there was a
supposed
lot
to be.
of like a ton of like kind of folklore, like horror stories like around like the Civil War and stuff like that, of like you know, different creatures and cryptids and stuff like that. So yeah, I wouldn't be I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like but then again, it could have also just been like a scare tactic.
Yeah.
by-
And you just have to think about all the trauma and
Oh,
things that
yeah,
people are
that
going
was-
through. Like,
that
you're
was,
killing your cousin.
Yeah.
Like,
The Civil War.
That'd be
was
like me
when
fighting and
when
killing you,
war
Mason.
Started getting
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
very-
like-
but really, yeah.
yeah, starting to get guerrilla tactics and stuff like that into war.
It's very sad.
They weren't just standing and shooting at each other anymore.
Hiding and,
like
ambush.
technology was starting to get to where it was like, man, like
Extremely deadly.
like that
yeah.
guy's dead. Like that wasn't
Yeah.
like, you know.
Like-
Triangular bayonets so they couldn't stitch the wounds, and they had conical bullets now so they could shoot a ways.
And probably literally the most taxing mentally war that America has ever gone through, just because it literally was like, like these
Your
are
family.
This isn't like we can't dissociate because they don't speak the same language.
Yeah,
and
these
we
are
don't.
these are people that you could have been visiting
Yes.
with last year.
Like this is us. So like these are, you know,
Just
and
awful.
especially for the Union too, because it's like we want you to assimilate with the Union, and you know, like we want you to be our people, but like.
They didn't want to be.
Yeah.
Nope. I guess in 1976, a park ranger, Edward Tinney, encountered the creature at 4 a.m., feeling extreme dread and chills. Apparently, the creature vanished as the car headlights pierced the fog. So the speculation is that the entity's true nature is unknown. Things that people discuss obviously are vampire, like we were talking about, but they also say werewolf, alien, or supernatural war spirit. So some type of cryptid or spirit that comes around during war.
Yeah.
Just any type of war. Over time, stories faded, leaving the legend shrouded in mystery. I would like to think vampire, though.
That would be pretty fun
Yeah.
if it was a vampire.
Something that I don't know about vampires, though, is victims that... It would have to be victims that were in the process of dying, not already dead, because I don't think...
You don't think they'd eat fresh dead blood?
I don't think so.
Okay, so and are we using like our vampire logic that we've got
Yeah.
like Twilight or what? like we know like I don't
I feel like they'd be more
I mean,
of a,
supernatural, Vampire Diaries, all the
Yeah.
things.
you know, that doesn't seem like
I'm well-versed.
Abraham Lincoln the Vampire
Yeah.
Slayer.
You always talk about Abraham Lincoln. I still haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that movie? What is wrong
We
with
need to
you?
have a movie night and
Oh,
watch
yeah.
it. I've never seen it.
I can't believe that. I've seen that movie like 4 times.
He is a vampire, Abraham Lincoln,
He's a
right?
vampire
He's
hunter.
a slayer.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was a slayer, but low-key he actually was also a vampire.
It wasn't like a Blade thing. It was
No.
a,
Which Blade is still a good movie though.
Yeah.
I love Blade. God. I can't even remember the actor's name. You know what I'm talking about. They know who I'm talking about.
dadgummit, I can't think of it either right now.
But like that dude, I find it hilarious how petty he
Wesley
is.
Snipes?
Wesley Snipes, I believe, is his name. And yeah, I love that he literally like he is the most petty actor that I've ever heard of in my entire life. It's
Is he
hilarious.
really?
Oh, dude, yeah. They had a scene. There's a scene where Blade, his character, like he has to like wake up or whatever
And open his eyes.
Yeah, and
that's-
he was mad that day with the director, so he just didn't open his eyes for the shoot, and they had to CGI
His eyes opening.
Yes, it's
Are you
hilarious.
serious?
Yeah.
I can't remember. He worked with somebody, I think, in the second Blade movie, and they were like, "I'm never,
Working with him again.
yes, ever." Like
It was terrible.
it was like bad. Like this dude's not a
To
good
have
person.
to CGI someone's eyes onto
Oh,
there,
you
just
can tell.
all
No,
they had
it's
to
bad.
all you had to do was open your eyes. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty petty.
And there's like 10 grand we've got to spend to like CGI. your
Literally,
eyes
just
open.
because you're being ridiculous.
Yes.
That is so immature.
Hilarious. Oh, he's so funny. God. I mean, he's terrible, but it's
Yeah.
hilarious. He's that terrible.
I mean, imagine being good enough to where you can get away with that, though.
Yeah,
and
they're
then,
just
like,
I will do it in post.
I mean, they're good movies. Like, I like the Blade movies,
Yeah,
but
they're good movies.
man.
so next of the cryptids, this is the last of the cryptids. And I don't know if this can even be considered a cryptid because I think some people genuinely believe this. Like, they say it's real. It's the rock apes of the Vietnamese jungle. So they're the bipedal primates of the Vietnamese jungle. Mm-hmm. The description is that they're known as rock apes. Let me just look it up since I'm so bad at pronouncing things.
Don't ask
I'm not
me.
familiar with their superstitions over there.
Nope.
Batatut or something, maybe?
She's starting to wake up, getting a little rambunctious.
Huh? You gonna eat my cable? You gonna eat my XLR cable?
Just
That's not very
play.
nice.
Batutut.
But toot toot.
I don't know if you got that one right, Google, but
Yeah. Oh well.
But toot.
But toot toot.
The rock apes.
do they have a native bipedal ape or anything in Vietnam? I'm not sure. Like, is there chimps or anything
I would.
in that area
I could see
naturally?
that.
They don't have any native great apes
Okay.
in Vietnam, so nothing that is native.
So if this is real, then this would be like a
New discovery.
Yep.
yeah.
No great ape species such as chimpanzees, gorillas, or orangutans are native to Vietnam. Known as rock apes, these creatures are muscular bipedal primates 3 to 7 feet tall, covered in thick reddish brown or black fur. The thing with them is they have bare faces, hands, and feet. Unlike North American Bigfoot, rock apes are more aggressive and bold. They have been reported throwing rocks at soldiers and engaging in battles, causing casualties on both sides.
Man, these fellas are.
So they're not for their own.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
against humans.
Yeah. An incident that was supposed to be notable was the Battle of Dong Din, where Marines fought a troop of rock apes, resulting in injuries and ape corpses found. So they had a battle against the rock
Yeah.
apes.
I've
Was-
never heard of that.
Me neither. And I was gonna
Dong
say-
Battle of
Conspiracy or
Dong
whatever
Din.
you would want to call it.
Yeah, because if there was a battle and there was casualties on both sides, then surely we'd be able to like recover a body. From,
They
like,
said they had ape corpses that were found.
Yeah.
Eyewitness consistency says numerous American and Vietnamese soldiers reported similar features and behaviors with the rock apes. Local apes, which are gibbons, are much smaller and less aggressive, so they think that there are some local apes called gibbons. I didn't see that looking it up, but making the rock apes unaccounted or known as like it being a known species. Theories are that undiscovered ancient hominid species, or they could be like genetic experiments by the military or Vietnamese forces, so apes that they did experimentation on, or just supernatural jungle guardians awakened by war. So a lot of people believe that war brings out all of these spiritual cryptids or ghosts, or, you know, just war in general brings out some types of creatures. I would like to think that they're like an ancient hominid species, like Bigfoot or whatever.
Yeah.
But experimentation wouldn't surprise me.
And they just saw everybody else like getting after it and figured they could stand out. and heads
Hey,
down.
we're gonna join in.
Like, finally.
Yeah, like some action, man. Good night.
It says in 1974, a Vietnamese military expedition unsuccessfully attempted to capture or kill them. And in 1970, Professor Tran Hong Viet discovered strange footprints and made plaster casts, but no other evidence or anything was found.
Which that doesn't, and that makes it, to me, that makes it kind of hard to believe. Just because if we've killed these fellas, surely we can
And
get a
supposedly
body.
they were bodies,
Yeah.
yeah. Which you would think we would have proof of it and stuff, but they could have gotten orangutans or other apes or something and trained, because you know they're
Unless it was
you
like
can
a,
train them.
if it was like a black ops, like super soldier, like kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just straight, let's turn a couple regular, you know, gorillas or orangutans into like some super crazy warriors, and it
Yep.
just, it worked, but like they can't really tell a difference between
Yeah,
who and who, so they just kind of go after everybody.
they're
Yeah.
just killing everybody.
You know,
They didn't
that
care.
would be like,
Locally known as Ngai Rung, Vietnamese folklore. Ngai Rung, it says, adding another layer to the legend.
Is that what the rock apes?
That's what
Yeah.
the Vietnamese call them.
That's what their names for them.
They were distinct subspecies and larger than the insular orangutans.
I do wonder if it was experimentation on orangutans and they tried to just make them be.
I mean, if it's real, then that, I think that's
like
probably
the red
only-
coloration is what kind of makes me think of
Yeah,
orangutan.
the red hair.
If it was real, the only way that it would have been, because like you said, if we got a body, 100%, they would have had to have been intercepted or like,
Yeah.
hey, we're gonna need that. Like straight Men in Black.
We're gonna need
like,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
So that's
know
why I
about
think
that.
if it was orangutans, and Americans we've never been over there or something, we didn't know what orangutans look like. I don't know, like what the
And there
reason would be,
are
but
gibbons in Vietnam. There are crested gibbons, 6 species of gibbons in Vietnam.
are they a
grow-
lot smaller, like
They
a
grow up to
chimpanzee,
3
right?
feet and
Yeah.
tall, 3 feet. And so maybe they think that some of the pressures and stuff of the war were just making people see them and think they were encountering a much larger.
Yeah.
So they think it could have just been the gibbons, maybe even they were killing killing the littler monkeys, which is
Yeah.
sad.
And you're
but
sitting there. Well, what's sad is you're a full-grown U.S. Marine and you're getting taken down by a little 3-foot monkey. You kidding
which
me,
they
boy?
are very strong, even chimps, like they're very strong. But
I think I could take at least 2. I think I think
we're
you
gonna
a
get
third-
into the gorilla
get a
versus
third-
man.
Gibbons 16 to 26 inches in height and weighing between 12 and 26 pounds.
Oh yeah. I think it would
Oh
take 3.
wow, they don't weigh very
yeah,
much
very
then.
small.
Yeah, I could punt one. One may go high. You have to like chunk that dude off.
Some of them up to 35 inches in height. So yeah, they're a fairly small species.
Oh yeah, now I take a couple.
I can take a couple of them.
Be fine.
But I mean, they may have been throwing rocks. There's a chance that they were. It was
got
just
some-
gibbons throwing rocks.
They've got some weaponry.
Yeah, they were
Could be.
trained.
They may be smart monkeys.
They could be.
Like, but like, man, maybe it was like the Vietnam. They were like, we're gonna train these monkeys to go after some Americans, but like they weren't very smart monkeys, so they also,
They were just taking down everybody.
Too.
You just taught them how to throw rocks.
Yeah, like, you didn't teach them who to aim for. So. You know what I mean? You just gave them the tool.
Yeah.
Good night.
Planet of the Apes.
I mean,
style.
shoot. And
I can't watch Planet of the Apes. I really can't. It makes me sick.
not?
I can't watch it.
What makes you sick about Planet of the Apes?
Like I don't like like they scare me.
Apes.
Monkeys scare you?
Yes.
That's kind of
Apes like
funny because every time I've watched Planet of the Apes, I was like a little bit
it makes me
Uneasy?
and maybe
Uneasy, yeah.
maybe it is the CGI and stuff that they use. I don't know
Straight,
what
like,
it is. But Riley's watched them and I can't.
Uncanny Valley.
kind of thing where it's like, that
Yeah.
shouldn't be acting
Like
a
that
human.
looks
Yeah.
so it looks
Yeah.
so off. It gives me very bad
like that's like the Homo whatever the other
Sapien.
one was. We're Homo sapiens, like they're
No, the Homo.
I don't know.
I can't remember either.
But yeah, where it's
I haven't
just like
been
the
through
other
a biology course or anything like
Yeah.
that in a long
No
time.
telling. That stuff's probably fake anyways. Government.
I can't watch those movies though. I can't.
Have you watched the original, like the first movie where
No.
it's like,
Oh,
I
that
mean-
one- that one's a lot easier. To
yeah,
get
it's
through.
Is
easy to
it?
watch.
It
It's
is.
like because you can tell they're like
Yeah.
Cubans and
Oh, okay.
because it's like came out in the 80s or
So it
something.
might have been earlier than
70s, 80s, something.
It's
like
people
that.
dressed up.
that. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
okay.
not
You could
C-
you could tell. It's a good watch.
The CGI ones, like Riley, I've tried to watch them with them. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm like, I hate it so much. He was like, why do you hate? I was like, I just can't watch it.
I like which I do like the new one just because of the action, but the old one is like more of a thought provoking. What would we do if like a intelligent species of
Overtook
monkeys,
us.
Like,
Yeah,
well, not
the
even
new,
overtook.
the new
it,
ones
like-
just went more action.
Yeah, it popped up and like what would we do? Like is
Yeah.
that do we integrate them or they
So we'll go ahead and move on to UFO sightings. This is our last little portion here. These are military encounters and personal experiences, and the first one is the Tinker Air Force Base.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there
So,
we go.
Oklahoma
Know where
City.
that is.
Yep. UFO encounter, and that this was a former security policeman, like for the U.S. Air Force. So his name was Rick Williams. I think he was there from 1968 to 1972. It says, about 50 years ago, while stationed at Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma, I experienced something I couldn't explain. One evening, after parking my car near Airman's housing, I suddenly felt compelled to get back in my vehicle and head east along the nearby interstate. Although I felt a bit foolish, I obeyed this strange impulse and drove for several miles.
I think I've heard this story.
Have you? Mm-hmm. At first, I noticed what seemed like a star near the horizon on the left side of the highway. But after a few more miles, this bright star appeared on the right side. Odd, because the interstate is fairly straight. Eventually, I realized it was no star at all. Instead, it was a very bright, sealed beam illuminating westward in my direction, similar to an aircraft landing light, but it was only one light. The light seemed to hover just a few hundred feet above the highway, around 100 feet high, like it was mounted on a fixed tower. Yet, I couldn't see any physical support or structure holding it up. Rolling down my window, I heard no noise, not even the hum or whir of a helicopter or aircraft, despite being nearby to the vehicle traffic. Curious and unsettled, I turned around at the next exit ramp to investigate further. But when I returned a few miles back, the light was gone. Later, I discreetly called flight operations at the base, asking if there had been any low-flying aircraft helicopters in that area. They confirmed there had been no aircraft activity for several hours. A few days later, I drove the same stretch before sunset, but found no tower or source of the light. To this day, I have no explanation for what I saw. It remains one of the most puzzling experiences of my life. Go ahead.
Gotta be real. I feel like that a UFO encounter next to a United States air
Base.
military installation is probably the least likely chance of being an alien. Like 100%, that is just some straight like classified, like 3 people know about for sure, and like we are going out to do a couple rounds.
The weird
odd
part
thing
is
about
the
it
feeling he
feeling,
got.
Yeah, like, I should turn around and get back on.
Like the feeling,
Yeah.
like for some
35
reason I
or
feel like I
whatever it
need to get
was.
back on the interstate. Like that's the weird thing
That
about
is
it.
Yeah, I've never had that feeling.
Because
like, I should
it's
get
like
back in
a-
my truck and head down the
Like I
road.
want to keep driving on this.
I just got back. I'm not getting
God,
that.
yeah, no, I'm.
But it was almost like a pull, like he had to do it type of thing, is the weird part. I just like that it was at Tinker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there has been weird stuff over there. I'm sure they keep it very on the low, but definitely interesting. And if they did have testing or something going on, even if he's they're not going to tell you the truth if there actually was
no.
something.
Some random
So,
NCO calls up, "Hey, you guys do anything?"
Nope.
No.
Yeah, they're not going to tell you. Like,
I don't really
you're-
think so. No, yeah, which I guess I just call up a great Uncle Rock, see what he's got to say. That might shoot some.
yeah,
Maybe like, yeah, we were testing some stuff.
we had some things
We had a
going
couple
on.
things in the air. I
So
have to kill you if I tell you more.
I refuse to
cool.
tell you. It's crazy the stories people will share anonymously, though. If you go look, there is an Instagram account, and I meant to plug it in. I don't think I plugged it into this. It's like Off the Grid or something about the grid on Instagram, and he uploads stories from people who are retired or to send them in like anonymous stories. And there's a lot of really crazy ones.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
really
here's
cool.
The thing too is if you're low enough ranked to where you don't actually know any like
classified
improvement
information.
Yeah, I mean, why would you?
Yeah.
Because you're never gonna find some freaking like colonel or something like that
No.
being like, yeah, because they know, like,
They know what's going on.
Yeah, they'd be like, yep, I could tell you exactly what.
Yeah, and they'll be more easily found because their story is going to make a lot more sense
Yeah.
of following what is actually
That was
going
like the
on.
SR like 172 or something like
Yeah.
that, or like something like crazy that we've had for like 20 years. That
Yeah.
you know, which it is wild. We 100% have like some crazy.
Oh, I'm sure there's some pretty interesting technologies out there
Yeah.
that's out of the general public's eye.
Oh,
we're
I'm
not
sure.
gonna find out about it for like 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man,
Until things come out again.
yeah. Or we already advanced way past it. Where it's like,
Yeah, doesn't matter anymore.
like we've got better stuff, and
Yeah,
you know, everybody else does too. So
yeah.
who cares? Let like the old like 50-year-old nerds that like collect like little figurines and stuff. Let them have at it.
So next one is the Vietnam War again. A lot of things with the Vietnam War. A lot of people saw a lot of stuff. So this was another UFO sighting. It was during a conflict, soldiers from all sides frequently reported sightings of UFOs. These reports were not limited to the American troops. Apparently, the Vietnamese soldiers also described strange aerial things happening. Some elements that were common included mysterious lights appearing suddenly in the night sky, electrical disturbances and unexplained equipment malfunctions, odd anomalies that defied conventional explanations. These, with the immense stress of the war, added to the mystique and mystery. They reported seeing random crazy light, just all the normal
No.
UFO things. But
It seems like a lot of the UFO stuff usually centers around war. Like a lot of people think that after we dropped the first few nukes or when we started testing, you know, that's when aliens really
Like,
took an interest
okay.
because they're like, oh, these guys.
they
are
got
stepping
something.
in.
They got
Like
some type
later,
of
yeah.
technology.
Yeah.
Like they're starting to get it figured out.
I wonder if they're getting impressed by us. Like, oh, we're
No, what are you talking about? You think the aliens are impressed at by nuclear?
Yeah, it's like we were like, yeah, man, that
They're
anthill
probably like,
is-
man, that's very rudimentary.
Yeah. Said, well, I mean, they kind of got it, sort of, a little bit.
I wonder if we are entertaining. I still
Which-
think it could be people from the future. That's my assumption.
Yeah, is that what you think? Is it's like
It's
like
us.
the way back?
I think it's us.
It could be like
From the
straight
future.
interstellar, like.
I think it's our.
Let me
They
go,
didn't bring-
Mom.
I think it's my
brought
great
us-
great 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 grandson that's coming to watch me and see all the dumb crap that I did, or
That's terrifying.
like how they didn't have to figure out if the history books were right or not. They're just gonna go find out for themselves.
How that would be very detrimental to
Yeah.
to society. I feel like I don't think they'd ever. I don't think
Some
anybody.
things are best left in history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're,
I
you
don't
know,
disagree, but
We'd probably find out a few things.
that we don't want to know about. Yeah,
Keep it there.
I'm sure a lot more things.
I
There's
don't want
things
time
that
to
I
see.
learned.
think
No.
that would be
There's
bad.
nothing there.
I learn things every day of what we've had going on and stuff that I didn't know about.
I like
Yeah, like getting rid of the original Four Loco recipe.
that is terrible, and whoever did that. This is why I hate the government. Man. I don't know. You know, you can't have nothing good anymore.
Yeah.
I thought we were free. I mean, shoot.
This is our last one. These are just some bullet points, but this is Iraq War UFO story, and the post was by QF Mastery. It says a story shared by QF Mastery describes an encounter from the Iraq War. So, the poster's father was serving his second tour in 2009 in the Kurdistan region with the National Guard. During a night patrol with the other soldiers, they witnessed a strange object. They described it as a silver cigar-shaped craft with a bluish glow. It hovered silently above them, almost hypnotically capturing their attention. After about 15 seconds, it suddenly rose into the night sky and vanished. None of the soldiers reported the sighting, fearing ridicule from their peers or superiors. So, also something I noticed, a lot of military, the reason they'll post anonymously is because they didn't want, like, all the other people making fun of them. Because, you know,
Yeah,
I'm sure
'cause
with a
it's
bunch
like-
of guys and stuff, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, really, dude?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get...
I mean, and it's hard too for me to take sometimes to take other people seriously like that about UFOs because
Mm-hmm.
I'll still see on the local Facebook group people posting the Starlink satellites. They're like, oh my god, what is that? What just happened? Did anybody else see this?
Yeah, I've seen a few
Yeah,
of
and
those
it's
posts.
like, man,
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about it. Like,
Yeah, when Starlink
Don't
Yeah,
worry about
coming
it.
over.
It's like it's
We're all
internet.
right.
It's like we've known. Carry
low
on.
Earth orbit, it's fine.
Yeah, and it's seriously anytime I'm like, yep. So most of these UFO people are probably just like that.
Yeah. So
Just
you're
like that.
automatically, I'm not believing anything they say.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
Even not just the UFOs though, but it is kind of sad if a personnel members went through something and they don't feel comfortable sharing it with anyone because they don't want to get made fun of. That's pretty. I know it's the military. It's tough.
I'd make fun of my
I would-
friends to their face.
it's like
What are you talking
you
about?
saw a UFO. Are you kidding
even if it
anybody?
wasn't a UFO though, like if it was I guess a Bigfoot or a ghost or
Yeah,
something,
I'd
but
still.
you just roast them.
Oh
Just,
yeah, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
like what? And then you didn't take it down? What are you
Yeah, come on
freaking
now. We've
wimp.
all been waiting.
Loser.
How long?
like? Come on, dude! Like it's been 50 years, 60 years since we've been talking about UFOs. You couldn't take one down.
Anyways, that's all I have for our stories. I kept it pretty short on this one, for the most part, not deep diving, but that wraps up our dive into the military personnel meeting the unexplained.
Yeah.
Ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoots, cryptids. Whether it's top secret reports or firsthand testimonies, these stories remind us that even the most trained eyes and advanced technology can't always explain what's out there.
I wonder how much of this too is kind of similar to I think it was a CIA mission in, I don't want to lie, but I believe it was some communist South American government or something like that, where they tried to make them think that a vampire was real.
Really?
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Oh, like the Soviet Union or something?
No, it was
No,
it was
South
some
America.
it was
I
some,
feel like I've heard something about that.
and the CIA, in order to get them to get the leader that they wanted into and to keep.
Oh,
people from,
they use fear tacticking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like
the
they make-
CIA.
I feel like
doesn't-
I've heard about that
The
maybe.
CIA stops at no boundaries.
You said it was in
Yeah,
South
they don't
America?
care.
or some, I can't. It's something like that.
More than
Some-
likely South America.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of CIA stuff happens.
Yeah, a lot of we're a bunch of communist controlled that we don't want to be communist countries, so we're like, yeah, let's let's make the public think that there's
There's a
like
vampire.
an actual vampire. Go along with their, because that's what they thought. Like it was like local lore, and they were like, you know what? Let's make that real and see what happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, they were drugging their own members with LSD and stuff. So.
I mean, I don't know. But I could definitely see where other intelligence agencies, like not even the CIA, but like the KGB or whatever, like doing stuff like that, just
anything that they can use to cause fear or commotion in the general public. Yeah,
I mean, because that's power, that's control.
that's one of the best tactics.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much for joining us in today's episode. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave topic ideas in the comments or find our email in the description to send us your scary stories.
Be careful though, Brooklyn may want to block you.
We got rid of the
That's not
pillow.
even too useful.
The
Okay.
pillow's not here.
It may.
Gonna try to throw some stock images in.
Yeah.
We do appreciate the comments.
we
whether Brooklyn
we appreciate all the comments. Thank you so
Constructive
much.
Criticism is still constructive.
Yeah. Brooklyn doesn't handle it well, but it's.
Whenever you're the eldest daughter with a type A personality and a perfectionist, it's hard.
Just kidding. Shout out that one guy. I can't remember.
I can't remember his name
But
either.
shout out you, dude.
He knows who we're talking about.
We appreciate feedback.
Yeah.
Any
Comment.
publicity is good publicity.
Exactly. Hey, it's all interaction, dude. Whatever.
Good, bad, we'll take it all.
As many mean names as you can come up with for Brooklyn. That's what we need.
Please
Hit us
no.
up our email. What is it? Fear and Flame.
Fear and Flame from you.
from you.
Find us
gmail.com.
here next time on the Fear and Flame podcast.
Spotify, YouTube. Happy 4th of July.
TikTok.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy
Happy 4th of
4th.
July. Rah!
Hurrah!